Hello there, it's Jacqueline Kane, and I am trying something completely new. I am actually on my conference line and Facebook Live at the same time. So I'm going to give everybody a few more minutes to hop on and see if anybody is available today and is taking time out of their day to hang out with me. So we'll give them a few more minutes. Hi, Ina, how are you? Good, I'm recording and I actually am on Facebook Live at the same time. So we're going to give people a few more minutes to join on. Yep. Hi Maggie, how are you? Well, we're recording and we're also on Facebook Live, so you can mute on your end and I'm also going to mute you on my end. We'll be starting in just a couple minutes. How's everything down in Florida? Yeah, I hear you on that one. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, right. Well, hopefully they won't. Right. All right, I'm going to mute everybody and I'm going to get started. Okay, so welcome everybody, and first I want to say that I am trying something way outside of my comfort zone. I am on Facebook Live and I'm on my conference line. So if you notice me looking away from my camera, it's because I'm multitasking and try to keep track of everyone. So let's see here. So welcome everybody. Welcome to the Stop the Pain Teleclass. I am Jacqueline Kane and I am happy you're here because I know that you have been suffering from excruciating pain and it's affected every corner of your life and it's exhausting. And I promise you that this could be the most important 90 minutes you spend this year. So first, a couple things. I'm going to be muting everybody on my end. And because I want to stay on track, I know everybody's really busy and I don't want to go over time. Anybody who is joining on the line, if you can mute your phones, and I will also be muting you on my end. And if you want, you can raise your hand by pressing 5-star. And we're going to get started. So I'm going to give you my best for the next 45 minutes or so. And you see, I've been studying for the last 30 years for this. And I'm going to shoehorn everything I can for you and for your life. And I promise that your life will be better with this information. And for some of you, it could be the most valuable training you ever hear. And for those that want to go deeper, I will absolutely make an invitation for you at the end of this call. So you are in the right place if you are living with chronic, constant pain. You may have been to the doctors, you've listened to them well, and you've taken their medication, and you are actually only getting worse. And you spend your days dwelling on the pain instead of enjoying your life. You see, there was a point in my life where I was living in chronic physical pain. I was working full-time, I had 2 young children, and my relationship with my husband felt like it was going in opposite directions. It was really falling apart. And I was starting a new business. And I was working overtime, and I was exhausted and tired and living in chronic pain. And then I ended up taking this workshop, and I realized that the pain that I had had in my body was gone overnight. Something that was bothering me for a year, that I thought was going to end my career, and that I thought I wouldn't be able to keep working, that after taking this workshop was gone. And I realized overnight that I didn't have the pain. And in that moment, I realized that there are solutions that are faster and easy, and it doesn't have to be this long, drawn-out thing to get rid of our pain. So I committed myself to helping other people find the fast and easy solution to their pain. And so this information that I'm sharing with you changed my life. And I've seen it change so many lives, and it absolutely can change your life. And I am not above bribing you to stay till the end of this presentation to get the possibility of a transformation that I know you really want to have. Let's see. Just checking on everything. So to do that, I'm going to give you a free bonus audio recording for those of you that stay till the end of the presentation. These audio recordings will help you get through the day with more energy and more ease. There's one audio recording that you can listen to in the morning to jumpstart your day, and there's one audio recording to help you let go of the day so that you can get a good night's sleep. So let me share with you a few stories of some of my clients. There was Joyce Weingart from New Hartford, from Torrington, Connecticut. She's an active woman in her 70s who enjoys being outside and working in her garden, visiting with friends, being an active member of her community and church. And she was living with daily shoulder pain, low back pain, numbness in her hands and legs. She has had 9 surgeries over her years, including knee replacement, arthroscopic surgery, rotator cuff surgery, lower back fusions, carpal tunnel surgery. She's now living with rods and screws in her spine. And still, she was living with chronic daily pain, with an intensity number of 8 out of 10. And she found herself at a crossroads. The pain was getting increasingly worse, and medications were no longer working. She was pondering if she should go to see another doctor or come and work with me even deeper. So she chose to do more work with me. And as we worked together, we healed her pain, and as we healed her relationship with herself, it became clear that she was overgiving to everyone else except herself. And she was really hard on herself in many ways. And as we healed the resentment and anger she was suppressing in her body, feeling that it was not okay for her to say no to other people, that it was her job in life, that she should help people, the more we cleared and healed that, the pain started to disappear. She was then able to feel more deserving and worthy of doing so many more wonderful things for herself, which gave her more energy to continue to do things for everyone else, if she decided to choose to do that. And for her, it was excitement and joy as she was discovering that the pain was going away and it was not coming back. And I am happy to report that it has been weeks now, and she is no longer having the physical pain she once had. And she no longer needs to take the medication on a daily basis that she used to. Another client of mine was Paula Yoles. She's a teacher and a single mom, and she's living with chronic neck and upper back pain. Along with having a history of Lyme disease, she also had many car accidents that resulted in her having low back pain and chronic physical pain. For her, it was exhausting, especially to keep up with everything that she needed to do with work, raising her son, working all week, and spending her free time at the doctor's, and taking medication, along with having routine craniosacral sessions. Even with everything that she was doing, she was still living with chronic debilitating pain in her body. She was starting to believe that it was hopeless, to think that she would ever get out of pain. Everything that she was doing was only giving her minimal relief. And after going through this program, she now has hope that she can be pain-free and is enjoying all the energy she now has to live a life pain-free and with unlimited energy. Another client of mine who has become one of my closest friends is Robin Crampton, and she's a florist in Litchfield, Connecticut, owner of Flowers of Distinction. She is also a single mom and a business owner. She was living with daily chronic pain, and every morning she would take a daily inventory of where her pain was and how intense it was, and it would literally rule her day. And she would then decide what she would be able to get done that day. Even though she had her own floral business, which is very busy and time-consuming, she found time in her day to take care of others. Even if she was exhausted, she was still a very giving, loving person. And it was her habit to put other people's needs before her own. With our work together, she has transitioned from the nightmare of living with chronic pain, and now, since going through this program, she has been able to raise her rates and start manifesting bigger opportunities for herself and her business. All the while setting better boundaries, taking better care of herself, and she now has the money, health, and energy she needs to take care of her home and take care of her job, along with hiring people to help her. She is now working smarter instead of harder. So let me share with you what I think are the 3 most important myths keeping people in pain, and how to improve your health so that you can live your happy, active life. The number 1 myth keeping you in pain is that the physical pain in your body is only physical. And yes, it's true, there may not be enough synovial fluid in your joints, or your joints are inflamed, and your body's not hydrated, and that is absolutely true. And I am here to tell you that the myth is that people believe the pain is only about the physical. So when people first come to me, I am hearing that they are only focused on the joint pain, the swelling, the pain that comes from the fluid buildup, the exhaustion and fatigue, and being completely burned out. No energy, sick all the time, and they really think it's just about the body. When in fact, I will show you today that the pain is more than just the physical. That when we heal the trauma that is stored in your body, trauma from past events that are still playing over and over in your mind, then the body can truly heal, along with releasing the physical pain and discomfort. The second myth keeping people in pain is that it will take a long time to get out of pain, and that healing takes a long time. And I am here to tell you that it doesn't have to. Yes, in a lot of healing modalities, it's true. And there are faster and easier solutions to healing your pain. And what I am going to offer you today is a faster and easier system to stop the pain so that you can get back to hiking, going on vacation, getting on the floor, playing with your grandkids, whatever it is you've stopped doing because of your pain. This special combination of very powerful techniques gets people out of pain faster and easier than most solutions out there. The number 3 myth keeping people in pain is that the pain and physical discomfort I feel is due to my aging body. I'm getting older, so I have to hurt. So I can't do everything I want to do. And the truth is that your body is designed to function for 100 years. At least I believe it is. And this weekend, while doing some research for this, I discovered that the oldest living woman is 116 years old. And last weekend, while I was at a football game at West Point, there was a retired general who lived to be 105 years old. We may not all want to live that long, but the possibility is there. Your body is giving out on you because it's decaying, not because it's wearing out. And your lifestyle choices are causing it to decay. The physical pain is actually coming from your choices, such as maybe not drinking enough water, maybe eating too many processed foods, and not paying attention to the negative self-talk in your mind. Those are what I have seen that keep people in pain. So let me share a few other stories of my amazing clients and how they were able to have these amazing results. There was one beautiful young lady, and she called me in a panic because she was scheduled for an in vitro the very next day. And she was petrified because it had failed. She was petrified that it would fail again because, you see, she had had an in vitro the year before and it had failed. And she was having a hard time conceiving. During our session together, she shared that when she was a young girl, her mother left the family. Her mother had left her dad and her sister. This must have been such a traumatic event for this young, beautiful girl. And at a time when she was becoming a young lady and started her menses. So you can only imagine how uncomfortable it was for her to talk to her dad about such a private matter. So she kept it quiet and hid that feminine part of herself. She wore large clothing and she was embarrassed to talk to anybody about it. And she was too afraid to ask for help. And she didn't have any women in her life to feel comfortable to confide in. Now that she was older and married and was trying to get pregnant, the results of this traumatic event was still a part of her body. And her body was not going to allow her to get pregnant, because it was still living with the fear and shame of being a woman. Once we healed that trauma and event and faced the fear that that little girl was going through, the sadness and the grief of her mom leaving and feeling alone and abandoned, and we gave that part of her a voice and let her know that it wasn't her fault, allowed her to connect with that little girl, she in fact did become pregnant the next day during her in vitro session. Now, of course, who's to know if the work we did together made a difference in whether she got pregnant or not? But what I can tell you is, in my experience, clearing that emotional trauma, clearing all of those memories stored in her energetic field and her physical body, absolutely allowed her to walk into that clinic as relaxed and present and open to her divine feminine side more than she ever had in her life. And it was with joy that when she left, that she let me know that she did indeed become pregnant the next day. Another wonderful, great client, Deborah, she had had a headache every day for 5 years, and it was excruciating. And you can just imagine what that was like for her. She was truly incapacitated. And she, like most of us, was one of those people who went to every doctor looking for a solution, went to every specialist. She tried everything. And she did get some relief for her headache. And when we started working together, the chronic pain in the rest of her body was an 8 out of 10. And there was still excruciating pain throughout all of her body. She was still getting headaches on occasion, and it was the pain in the rest of her body that she came to me for, and that nobody was able to help her with that. And it was because she trusted her doctors, that she listened to them when they said her pain was only physical. So of course she took the medication they prescribed. Of course she had all the tests done. And she found herself only getting worse, which was causing her more resentment and anger at the doctors. Can any of you relate to this? Have any of you out there been through that? So as we went through this program, she realized that she was afraid to speak up for herself in her marriage and in her relationships. She kept her feelings to herself. And during our sessions, she talked about not growing up in a happy home and how her dad wasn't around much. She was one of 6 kids, So there was not a lot of time to devote a lot of attention to each of the children. She took on the belief that she wasn't important, and others were more important than her. So she found herself putting others' needs before her own. She didn't even know what her needs were. She didn't even know what she wanted. She had shut that part of her down so long ago. She didn't even know what she really wanted in life. So by dealing with those issues that kept her small and quiet, and at times being a victim, she was able to let go of a lot of the pain she was in. And now I'm happy to say she's able to enjoy more walks. She enjoys hiking with her husband. And because of this, she is now being seen more in her choir group, and she now enjoys receiving compliments of how well she is singing. She's going to be turning 60, and she is really looking forward to it. So much so that she is enjoying planning her retirement and getting excited for being able to have more energy so that they can spend half of the year out of the country visiting her family in Australia. And she now has many fun choices of how to live out their retirement years. There was also another client, Sandy, from Milford, Connecticut. And she was having physical pain in her body for 30 years. She was living with fibromyalgia and arthritis, shoulder pain, low back pain. She had car accidents and actually had an injury at work. She was a teacher, and she had picked up a student from the floor, and she ended up injuring her back at that moment. 30 years later, she was still in pain, and she was using magnets to help reduce the pain every single day. And yet, even with the magnets, her pain levels were still a 9 out of 10 on most days. Sandy was also a woman who did a lot for others and put their needs before her own. And as she went through this program and we let go of the anger that she was really feeling for doing so much and never getting recognized, even though we all know that's not really why she did it. She loves doing things for other people and helping everybody. But there was a part of her that felt that she didn't matter. And she felt that she should do these things for others. And as we heal the pain of feeling that we should and letting go of I have to, she was able to release the pain and have more energy. Now she can choose to say yes and help people, and she has the power to say no in a more loving way that honors her needs and honors everyone else. So right now, I would really love to take you through an exercise and experience so that you can understand how I help people get in touch with their pain and the reason why they have not been able to let go of the pain, and get some clarity around why the pain is still around. So hopefully you are not driving, and hopefully you can either sit or lie down, and you can close your eyes and take a breath. And if you have a few different pain areas in your body, I want you to focus on just one. And I want you to focus on how the pain makes you feel. Focus on the emotion that you are feeling when you think of this pain, and focus on the pain. For example, most people will say they are frustrated or annoyed. And simply allow your mind to paint you a picture. Allow your mind to paint you a picture of the very first time you felt frustrated in your life, or the first time you felt annoyed. Whatever that feeling is that pain makes you feel. And allow your mind to go back to the very first time you felt that feeling. And really get into the memory of what that was like. Maybe take another deep breath in and let that go. And allow your mind to give you even more detail what was happening the very first time you felt that pain and that feeling. The very first time you became aware of that pain. Notice where you were. Notice who was with you. Notice what you were doing. And notice the characters in this event, in this experience. And notice all the things that were coming up for you at that time. And become aware of what that meant for you. What beliefs and ideas you chose in that moment. The decision you came up with about yourself. And the thoughts and beliefs about other people in that situation. And how that story has continually been running your life. And notice how that decision is showing up in all areas of your life. And how the pain has just accelerated. It's exponentially worse than it was when it first started. It's how that story has become a self-fulfilling prophecy. How that persona is determined to be right, and that decision colors your perspective, your worldview, how it impacts your choices. And it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Every aspect of your reality is affected and impacted by your decision. So ask yourself, what's the decision you made in that moment about yourself and the world because of that experience? That's the beginning of the story. A thought attached to the feeling, attached to a persona, attached to a voice. That created the voice that is manifesting this pain cycle. And this story has been going on, and they continue to create even more stories. And all of this is stored in your body, in your emotional network, in the neural networks of your brain, your nervous system. So in order for you to live pain-free, we need to clear all levels of this. Because how we do anything is how you do everything. And because you made that decision, it impacts every aspect of your life and even predicts your future. And so would you like a new future? One that not only involves you living pain-free, but it involves you being happy and active. And so take a deep breath. And come back to the here and now. And if anyone would like to share what that was for you, what you noticed. How's everybody doing? Okay, so everybody's kind of quiet. So you can see that even though you've done work around these events, you may have noticed that these emotions are still stored in your physical body. And we've had so many experiences and events that we really haven't released and let go of all of it. And when they are still stored in our bodies and we have no idea until we really calm the mind and get quiet and ask the body what it needs and what it wants us to share, to know. And so if you got any feedback from your body, just thank your body for the insight that it gave you today. Because we are all so busy, and it's hard for us to tune in to the messages, of our body. And as you can see, the events are real, and the decisions you made at that time are real to you. Some people may have made the decision that they didn't matter, and that they had to stay small. And so that's a little bit of how I work with people. And as you can see, and hopefully for those listening to the recordings of this, you will also be able to get some insight into the story that your body wants you to pay attention to. And from there you can move into releasing and letting go and shifting into a different mindset. So that is all I have for you at this time, and I promised you at the beginning that I would share a way for those of you who want to go deeper. And for those who want to go deeper, here's my invitation for you. It's a 7-module training, and I will show you why you are still in pain and why it has been so hard to get out of pain. And my invitation for you is to invest in you and in my Stopping the Pain online course. It's a 7-week live training course, and I will be on the calls live teaching Tuesday and Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern, because it's my absolute leading edge technology of where my own understanding and all the experience of my teaching has brought me, and I'm going to share that with all of you. So over the 7 weeks, this is what we will cover. In Module 1, Addicted to Your Pain, we look at your relationship with your pain so that we can find out how you are feeling about it and what your pain wants you to know. Over time of living with pain, we become addicted to it. And in this module, we will uncover how you really feel about your pain and use a very powerful mind-body tool to start healing the pain so that you can start living your pain-free life today. In Module 2, we free your feelings. We give you the space and freedom to feel your feelings so that you can finally feel the sadness and grief and anger and resentment, whatever you have allowed yourself to not feel. We create your own roadmap to connect the physical pain to an emotional experience. The story that continues to play out in your subconscious mind. In Module 3, The Gift of No, master your boundaries so that you can take back control of your relationships and create better boundaries so that you can understand the price that you have been paying of living a life of not having boundaries. So that you can say yes when you really want to say yes and say no when you really mean no. We will uncover the feelings that you have denied yourself all these years. The bitterness, the anger, and the loss of who you really are. Realizing over time people manipulate us because they know they can and that we'll never say no. And you have chosen not to have a choice. And now it's your opportunity to choose how you want to react, when you want to say yes, and when you want to say no in a very loving way. In Module 4, you get to step into your own power. Decide what it is that you want to do with the newfound energy you now have so that you can fall in love with yourself. Experience a powerful visualization to stay grounded each and every day so that you can take care of you and your loved ones. And in Module 5, notice your patterns of self-sabotage. Get crystal clear on what your self-sabotaging patterns are, who in your life is triggering you, and what in your life is triggering you. And you get to choose to release it and let it go, let go of old limiting patterns, so that you are free to decide how you want to react and how you want to be. Opening up to what is possible so that you can focus on what you really want to have in your life. And in Module 6, you get to claim yourself. Open your heart and embody love for who you are now, so that you can create your life from this place and continue to bring more joy into your life. Believing in possibilities so that you can finally say goodbye to the pain. And in Module 7, manifest the health you do want. Now that you no longer are living in pain, what would you like to do with all the time that you used to focus on your pain? You can dust off your dreams so that you can be the person you were put here to be. Remember the client, the young woman? When I took her through this experience, she went right back to those days when her mom left, and she was embarrassed to talk to her dad. And in that moment, she realized how much she shut down her female side, her beauty inside of her, the beautiful part of her that she was denying. And here we were years later not being able to become pregnant. And in this moment of revisiting this traumatic event for her and healing it, she was now able to own her feminine side and welcome a new pregnancy. And when my client Deb with the headaches was able to let go of being afraid to speak up, letting go of the sadness she felt as a child, being one of 6 kids and feeling like she didn't matter, like she didn't deserve attention and love, the more she healed those feelings and emotions, the more she was able to release the physical pain and step more powerfully into being herself. Finally being more authentically her for the first time in her life. When she shows up from that space, she is powerful and beautiful, and she gets to love her own unique self. When we are free to be ourselves, we give others around us the freedom to be who they are and to share their own unique gifts. We can then open our hearts more fully and live our lives from that place, no longer from a place of fear and sadness and grief. So I do have a bonus for you for signing up for the course. It's my previously recorded group call to clear the blocks and create and manifest your best year ever. And I know right now you are in pain and you can't even imagine feeling what it would be like to be out of pain. And trust me, when you are out of pain and living pain-free, you will really want this recording of manifesting your best year ever. There is also a private Facebook group to get support as we go through this process. And for the first 20 people to buy by midnight tonight, you'll also receive another group call. And my guarantee is 30 days, no questions asked. If you do all the calls and if you show up and use the bonuses, that if your pain doesn't decrease by 50 or 75%, then you will get your money back. For some people it will go away, and for some people it will become manageable so that they can actually still live their life and still feel sexy and feel productive. So the price of the 7 weeks is $297. The normal everyday price that my individual clients invest is $997. And for the group experience today, it's $297. And I have hundreds of clients who pay the one-on-one price of $997 with me and have tremendous breakthroughs. So are you ready to sign up and have a new life, a new happy life just for you? We are coming to the end of this class, and it would be my joy and my honor to work with you and to take you through to heal your pain so that you can start living your happy, active life. So again, thank you all for being here. And if anybody has any questions, I've unmuted everybody. Everybody doing okay? Not at this time. Well, thank you everybody for being on the call. And if you have any questions, you can email me at jacqueline@jacquelinemcane.com or private message me on Facebook. All right, thank you for being here. Bye.